Kua whāriki hia nei e koutou kei runga kei Wainganui a tātou I tēnei whare pāna ki taku whaia. Kia rātou katoa e huri ki tua o te arai, no reira tēnā koutou katoa. Tēnei anō e mihi atu ki ngā tini mate I whakapau kaha, ki ngā mahi hei whakahoki I o mātou nei whenua I Raupatu tia ana ki te kite tēnei wāhanga kei Wainganui a tātou I tēnei rangi te whakahoki o tō tātou nei awa tūpuna a Waikato. Mr Speaker, I stand and acknowledge the many tributes that have been put forward in this House, specifically to my mother, and indeed to the many people who have passed and have been involved with this settlement, both the Waikato River settlement and the Waikato-Raupatu settlement. The many people who have exhausted their effort, their determination, their talent, their expertise and their wisdom to see the return of Waikato lands and our awa to our people so that we can look forward, so that there is a future for the next generation. I acknowledge that this is a second reading and really want to add a contribution that may be helpful in terms of the debate that is about to take place with the committee stages leading on to the passing of this legislation. I want to acknowledge the key tenets of this settlement, which is mainly to see the health and well-being of the Waikato River restored. Unlike the land settlement, the major benefactor of this one will be the Waikato River itself. And it's a very different kind of mindset or space to put yourself into when you're talking about the health and well-being of the river and the challenge over a generation to see it restored to what many of our old people remembered, and that was a clear and pristine state. Many people in the House may say, look, this is an unachievable task. But back in 1987, when a statement of claim was put forward to the Waitangi Tribunal to say that the Waikato River and those lands that were confiscated from us belong to us and we belong to them, they will be returned. A lot of people didn't believe that. The passage of time has now seen the realisation of that very, very ambitious aspiration realised, and we should really acknowledge that that in itself is a huge, huge milestone. I want to acknowledge that the two key elements underpinning this settlement are quite simple. The mana of the awa and mana whakahaere for the awa. But if I can just add to some clarification in the House, because there have been many interpretations put forward. In time, history, it's my belief that if one were to condense a sense of what mana of the awa is to our people, there would be no straight interpretation. But history will show that Waikato at no point ceded authority over our river to anybody. We still maintain and affirm the strong sense that we, and that the mana of the awa is intact, that we are merely its caretakers, custodians, caregivers if you like, and that that mana has basically transcended over a long period of time. That is why mana whakahaere becomes so important, because again the future will show that our relationship to the river and our ongoing connection to the best interests and outcomes for the river will sustain our people and lead to their well-being, not only of Waikato, but of all those who live in our region. So it's about the ongoing care and protection and management of the river. So that's my interpretation of it. So the challenge to negotiate a precedent-setting agreement such as this has not been without sacrifice and struggle. And I did say in 1987, when that statement of claim was lodged, nobody believed that it would happen, but it has happened, and we recognise that. I want to acknowledge both National and Labour governments who have played their respective role in the challenge to see history rectified, to see past wrongs rectified, and to see that justice is served. It is pertinent to note that the signing of the Waikato River settlement on the 22nd of August was a groundbreaking opportunity for the nation. Never before had co-governance or co-management been a concept so willingly accepted by the Crown. And in that respect, I pay tribute to Michael Cullen for his leadership, because it took leadership to make something like that happen. Under the current Minister, the Honourable Chris Finlayson, Waikato-Tainui were asked to participate in an independent review to look at some of the co-management provisions and to see whether or not they could be streamlined. If there are gains to be made from this example for other river iwi, such as those who have spoken, Waikato would be the first to offer its model as a potential way forward. However, let it not be said that Waikato is imposing this model on any other river iwi. If any gains can be taken from it, so be it, but that is for river iwi themselves when they enter into their negotiations to be able to draw the gains potentially from this model, but also build on their own aspirations for how they want to see the future well-being and management of their own awa. We're not in a position of telling other iwi what to do, because it is important that each iwi must find a solution that works for them. Some of the panel's recommendations led to the establishment of a number of changes which the Select Committee considered, which is really where I want to focus my contribution. The creation of the Waikato River Authority. There was a lot of debate at a political level about the 5 statutory boards and that this was an onerous provision and it would lead to a disconnect between a whole integrated approach to decision making along the river. Well, time will tell whether or not the right decision was made, but let's give it a shot. And I think that really is the message that I want to put in this House today, because it clearly was a message coming back from the tribe, from the many consultations that they had. If this is going to be seen to be an opportunity to move forward and make better decisions on the river, let's give it a shot. But when it comes time for review, let's have a look at it in a very serious manner, because again, Waikato did not want to be in the position where we were saying to every other iwi along the river, when they're making their decisions about their best interests of their parts of the river, what they should be doing. And I want that recorded in the House, because when the review comes up, we may need to relook at this decision at some point in the future. The other point to be made is the composition of the Waikato River Authority, 5 Crown members and 5 members from all those iwi along the river. Again, there was a strong go-forward feel from the tribe on this particular issue, but again, it should be recorded in the House that the concern was that Waikato did not want to see its interests diluted against the backdrop of the many other iwi, certainly in the upper catchment. And again, I just raise that as a potential area that might be considered at a review in the future. The other change that resulted from the independent review panel was putting the vision and strategy directly into the regional policy statement rather than setting it at the national policy level. Now, there are a number of advantages that have been proposed as to why this is the case, that it is a more direct way of having an influence on the decisions of what happens regarding the setting of policy for the Waikato River. However, I raise again this point because if at any time there is a concern from the territorial authorities about the implementation of the RPS or any change in their commitment to reflect at a practical level what's happening within the development of policy or at an implementation level, then the course of redress for Waikato must be directly with the Crown, not with the territorial authorities. And that is a very genuine concern that I want to ensure in the committee stages receive a full and robust debate. Finally, Mr Speaker, mention has been made of the Clean-up Fund, which is a great opportunity for many people who are committed to participating in the cleaning up of the river. The provision of the endowment fund to the Waikato Endowed College. We want to see the intellectual wealth of our people focused and harnessed in this area of environmental management, perhaps, of stewardship, of being able to have some practical cases that are being able to be looked at as to best practice in the area of resource management. And then the joint management agreements. I was absolutely delighted, albeit on a sad occasion, that the first joint management agreement was signed on the 23rd of March, the day on which my mother passed, and she would have liked nothing more than to have been there. And one thing that she did say is that after me, the work continues. And for the Waikato District Council to be able to sign the first joint management agreement as a clear reflection of its intention to work with us and going forward on the Waikato River, I think indeed has been something that we back home have well recognised. Finally, I want to acknowledge the Select Committee, because the efforts of the Select Committee go without saying that you have to sit through a number of submissions, some which are very positive and some which are very negative. Sadly, some of those submissions